Hey everybody, it's Cheryl Lacey Donovan, and I want to welcome you to my 3D motivation. Yes, that's right, 3D motivation. And the name came from the fact that I'll be sharing with you 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm so glad that you've decided to join me here for this podcast. I really believe that it's going to be something that's going to inspire you and uplift you and empower you to create the change or be the change that you want to be. So having said all of that, I want to go ahead and get started with something that is very near and dear to my heart, something that I have been talking to a lot of women in particular about very recently, and that is learning how to embrace rejection. Yeah, and learning how to embrace rejection. And I know when you first hear that, it may sound somewhat counterintuitive, but one of the things that I've learned in my lifetime, one of the lessons, if you will, that I have identified is that, people cannot make you feel inferior unless you allow them to do so. They can't make you feel inferior. They can't make you feel less than. They can't make you feel as if you don't matter unless you give them your consent. And that is so very true. I think a lot of times, we put people in particular places, or we exact certain expectations on them that when they do not reach those expectations or when they do not meet those expectations, it causes us to be somewhat disappointed, when in reality, we probably should not have had them in that place to begin with. So it makes us feel as though we've been rejected, or as though we have been turned away from the group, or whatever the case may be. But it's only about what you allow. So we have to get to a point where we can learn to embrace rejection. And I get it. Nobody really likes rejection. When we ask somebody to do something, or when we have an expectation that they should do a particular thing, then it can feel really, really bad. It feels very terrible. If we go out there and we try to get a job that we really wanted, we were looking forward to it, it feels like we may have failed in some kind of way. And, there are a lot of different other examples that we can look at as far as rejection and how it hurts us. But if you could ever get yourself to a point where you can actually embrace rejection, you'll find that it can be a tremendous tool in your own personal development, because at the end of the day, rejection is really a part of life. We may be afraid of it because it points out some flaws in ourselves, but if we use the rejection as a learning experience, then we can figure out a way to use it so that it can better our position in life. So this is one of the questions that we have to ask ourselves, or a question that we need to try to answer. Why did that person reject me? Not only why did that person reject me, but why did it make me feel the way that I felt? If you can answer that, then you are well on your way to finding a way to improve how you deal with the rejection that you may experience in your life. The other thing that I know about rejection is that it can also give you an indication of what you want or don't want in your life. So if you continually go after a certain thing and you continually find, doors closed, or people saying no, people rejecting you, one of the things that I've identified again is this: sometimes God is closing those doors, because those doors are not the ones that you need to go through. And we have to suck it up and recognize, well, you know what? If God doesn't want me to go through that door, then that must mean that there is something on the other side that I don't need to be a part of. Even though it may look good to me, even though the grass may seem to be green, it could actually be built on astroturf at the end of the day, which is very fake. We know that astroturf is fake, so we have to take it for what it's worth. The other thing is, if these particular people or this particular group is continually telling me no and closing doors, then perhaps what I have to offer, perhaps my giftings and my talents were not meant for them in the first place. And that's one of those things that comes with emotional intelligence maturity, with emotional maturity and spiritual maturity even. when you can recognize those things for what they are and then get to a point where you just keep it moving. It just wasn't meant for you, because I know that these things that are placed on the inside of me, I know that the gifts that I have, I know the talents that I have, I know that who God created me to be, I'm firm in that understanding. Therefore, if you do not want what I have, then perhaps what I have is not for you. Embracing that rejection, you know what I'm saying? Because the rejection is a blessing in disguise. It really is. And if you really learn to look at it from that point of view, it can help you to catapult yourself into the place that you need to go. Most rejection that you have shouldn't be taken personally. And I know that can be easier said than done, but you have to understand it for what it is. Again, and perhaps what you have or what you're trying to offer is not what those individuals need or what that individual needs. Perhaps you're not targeting the right type of people. On the other hand, if you find, when you find people that really, really need and desire what you have, then getting a yes isn't going to take that long. So you have to really kind of understand the reason for the rejection. And then the other thing, the reason for the rejection could actually be the people or the individuals that you're trying to present the information to, or that you're trying to give the talent or the gift to. Maybe you're too much for them. Have you ever thought about that? And I'm not trying to give you a big head or trying to cause you to become conceited, but maybe, just maybe, that crowd that you're looking at may be deficient, or maybe there are some things lacking in them that will not allow you to go there and let your light shine. Perhaps when you go with them, they expect your light to be hidden under a bushel because they are not strong enough in themselves to allow someone else to shine alongside of them. So that rejection had nothing to do with you. Therefore, you should not take it personally. It's actually a deficiency or an issue that they have within themselves. We're talking about motivation on today, and knowing who you are, and not only who you are, but whose you are, so that when that rejection comes, we can see it in a different light. That's why the word says, don't be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And if your mind is being renewed by the right things, and you're thinking on the right things, whatever is pure, whatever is proper, whatever is, great, although thinking on the right things, those things that the word has to say about who and what you are, then you can find yourself in these situations and learn how to embrace rejection effectively. So here's something that I want to just throw out there to you. If you're afraid of rejection, then you'd be wise to get over that. You just have to look. The rejection comes with life. You'll find that rejection can help you get more of what you want out of life if you use it in a constructive manner. Don't let it get you down. Just keep moving forward. Be renewed in your mind. Don't be conformed to the world. Know what the word says about you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are made in God's own image. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You are more than a conqueror. Remember that. Therefore, the rejection that you may experience in your life, you can let it go and move forward. Use it more effectively in your life and be the change that you wish to see. So listen, that's all I have for you today on embracing rejection. Make sure that you subscribe to this podcast in Spreaker. You can also go to my webpage and subscribe to the webpage. I'm on YouTube at www.youtube.com/Real Life Real Faith. I'm on Instagram, Evangelist Cheryl on Instagram. I am on Twitter. C. Lacey Donovan is my handle there on Twitter, and also on Facebook. In order to get to me on Facebook, you have to go to Real Life Real Faith with Cheryl Lacey Donovan, because my personal page has already 5,000 followers plus. So just make sure you reach out to me, connect with me, subscribe to the places where I am. If you Google my name, you'll find me out there. And just make sure that you find out when these 3D motivations are coming back to you. I want you to remember, as always, that God can do exceedingly and abundantly more than you could ever ask or think, according to the power that worketh in you. Be blessed.